Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Holy Face Time. This morning is September 9th, and it marks the Marian Calendar of Our Lady of Puy. On the road which passes the shrine of Our Lady of the Thorn, high on the Jura Mountains, there's a shrine of Our Lady of Puy. All crusaders pass this way on their way to the Holy Land, on pilgrimage to rescue the holy places from the hands of the infidel. There was scarcely a knight who did not go to bid farewell to Our Lady of Puy and ask her care for his dear ones, should he not return. Close to this shrine lived a wealthy nobleman, lord of a beautiful, spacious castle in the gorge, who offered hospitality to all while they made their devotions to the Mother of God and entrusted themselves, body and soul, to the gracious Virgin Mary. Le Puy claims to be the location of the earliest vision of the Blessed Virgin after her death, when she appeared to a sick woman in the 1st century A.D. It happened in this way. In about the year 46, St. Peter sent missionaries into a land that was then known as Gaul, modern-day France. St. George of Valais was the first bishop of that see. In about the year 70, there was a widow from Rusium named Villa, who was a new convert and became sick with a high fever. Villa prayed to the Blessed Virgin for a cure, and Mary appeared to her, asking Villa to climb the Mount Anis to be healed. Villa, believing in the apparition, had her servant carry her to the place indicated. When they reached the spot, the servant set Villa down to rest upon a large rock, and Villa fell asleep. And when she awoke, she found she was completely cured. As the woman had slept, she saw in a dream a celestial female, whose dazzling robes floated like a white mist, and whose head was encircled by a crown of precious stones. This woman of exquisite beauty was surrounded by a retinue of angelic spirits, who inquired the daughter of the Gauls of one of the blessed spirits, "Who is that queen so gracious, so noble, and so beautiful, who comes to me, a poor sick woman, in my extreme affliction?" "It is the Mother of God," replied the angel. "She has made choice of this rock to be invoked here, and she charges you to inform her servant George of it, that you may not take the order of heaven for a vain dream. Arise, woman, you are healed." When she awoke, the woman had in fact no more languor or fever. Filled with gratitude, she lost no time in running to the bishop and relating to him her own mouth the message of the angel. It seems that the Mother of God desired that a church eventually be built there, for when Villa told Bishop George of her miraculous cure, he climbed the mountain himself with some of the clergy to see the place. Arriving at the very spot, St. George was startled to come upon an impossible sight. Even though it was the middle of summer, the peak of Mount Anis was inexplicably covered in snow. And then, as they marveled, a stag came from out of the thicket and stood before them, marking with his careful steps the outline of the rock upon which Villa had recently been cured. St. George had a fence built around the rock to preserve the place, but it was not until a much later date that the spot became a location of a new church altar. It wasn't until the year 221, well over a century later, when the Blessed Virgin, accompanied by angels, appeared to a paralyzed woman who besought her assistance through ardent prayer. Mary told the woman to ascend Mount Anis, which she immediately did, and upon reaching the fence St. George had erected there, the woman was instantly cured. The Mother of God appeared to the woman now to request that a church be built in her honor upon that holy ground. Pope Callistus I gave permission for the church to be constructed, and it was St. Martial who built the church. He left there a precious relic, one of the sandals of the Blessed Virgin Mary. When the church was completely finished, the bishop went to Rome to request a solemn consecration for the church. He had not gotten far when he ran into two dignified old men. Each of them carried a gilded chest, and they said the chest held precious relics brought all the way from Rome to be deposited at the new church of Mount Anis. and then told the bishop that heavenly angels had already consecrated the church. Saying so, the pair disappeared. The bishop went back to his church barefoot, and upon going inside found brilliantly illuminated by 300 torches the altar had only recently been anointed with oil, which gave off an appealing aroma. Having been consecrated by the angels, the church has never been given any other consecration, and was given the name Church of the Angels. The location became a popular site for pilgrims en route to Santiago de Compostela in Spain, and there was no place in France more frequented. Some of the pilgrims who visited Puy include St. Anthony of Padua, St. Dominic, St. Vincent Ferrari. Among others, the Emperor Charlemagne visited the church in the years 772 and 800 and selected it as one of the locations for the gathering of alms to support the Pope, which monies became known as Peter's Pence. The list of holy and great men who came as pilgrims is as impressive as the numbers of ordinary people. Pope St. Leo IX declared that the Mother of God is nowhere given more special and filial veneration than at Notre Dame de Puy. It was the most illustrious shrine in France at the time, of course. The Bishop Adhémar de Monthel, living at Puy, was said to be the first person to take up the Crusaders' cross when Pope Urban II was preaching and encouraging the First Crusades. Acting as a legate of the Holy See, this bishop went with the famous knight Godfrey de Bouillon on his journey to the Holy Land. Pope Urban II prayed for the success of the crusade at the church of Notre Dame de Puy on the Feast of the Assumption in the year 1095. Shortly before he left, the Bishop Adhémar de Monthel also prayed there for the liberation of the Holy Land. When overcome by a sudden inspiration, rose and gave voice to a beautiful new prayer to the Blessed Virgin Mary, singing, Salve Regina, Mater Misericordiae, vita dulcedo et spes nostra, salve, or Hail, Holy Queen, Mother of Mercy. Hail our life, our sweetness, and our hope. This prayer used to be known as the Anthem of Puy, and was much beloved prayer of the knights of the First Crusade, addressed to Our Lady in Heaven. King Louis IX of France met with the King of Aragon at Puy in the year 1245. In 1254, St. Louis gifted the cathedral with an ebony image of Mary. The king had brought the statue back from the Holy Land, where it was known to be a statue of great antiquity. It featured the Blessed Virgin seated on a throne and holding the infant Jesus on her lap. In the coming years, this statue was carried in procession to implore the intervention of the Blessed Virgin Mary during times of hunger, war, or pestilence. The statue survived all throughout the Middle Ages, and though the original image was burned by atheistic revolutionaries in 1793 during the French Revolution, the one currently on display is a copy of the original. Le Puy observes a privileged jubilee, or Holy Year, whenever Good Friday falls on the Feast of the Annunciation. This doesn't happen often, and the last time was in 1932, and the next time will be after the year 2000. In 1860, a large statue of Our Lady of France was blessed at Le Puy, and it was made of metal of over 200 pieces of artillery captured by the French at Sevastopol in the Crimean War. It's about 16 meters tall and weighs about 10 tons. Before the rise of lords, Le Puy, Chartres, and Liège were the greatest Marian centers of France. When the so just a couple of interesting notes. I did do a video earlier on this year about that statue, which is made from 200 pieces of artillery. So I did do something on that quite a while back, so you might recognize there's a bit of repetition there. And also the ebony image of Mary it's also known as the Black Madonna, and it's this particular statue is quite famous in history. probably originated in Ethiopia. Not sure, but there's some doing a little bit of digging on the Cathedral of Le Puy, and I did find an image of it in there from one of the websites. So hopefully I can post those links in the show notes so that you can see that. But, once again, here we see a beautiful story of Our Lady's intercession throughout history, and as early as the 1st century. And incredible how long Our Lady's been active in our church, forever, right? So I hope you all enjoyed this. I certainly did. I learned a lot more about Our Lady and this beautiful cathedral in Le Puy. So I'll leave some links to where you can see the cathedral, and God bless you all. Until next time, I hope you have a beautiful day. Blessed be the name of the Lord, and blessed be his holy face. God bless now.